All right, welcome everyone to today's episode of Is It Prophecy here on Israel National Radio Root Sheva, and the show is syndicated as Messiah Hour on YouTube. Go to YouTube and type in Messiah Hour with Ari Lewis and subscribe to the YouTube channel. It is free to do so. You can also email me at messiahhour@gmail.com, and you can find me on JApp, www.j-app.me, and check out some of my episodes there as well. Excited to have today's guest. She writes a very popular blog known as therealclearisrael.org. That's also, her Twitter handle is Real Clear Israel, and has a Facebook group with the same name, and also works with United with Israel. So it's a pleasure to bring on the very popular writer, Leslie Ann Stoffel. Leslie, how you doing out there?
I'm great, Ari. Thanks for having me on.
Sure. I follow a lot of your writing, and I know that you have a big following, and you're very much into Israel. I want to start first with your Canadian roots, with Stephen Harper's comments, Prime Minister of Canada, saying that he felt that Friday's terror attack in France was a sign that we need to have a war against global jihad. I wanted to get your thoughts about the Prime Minister's comments.
Oh, okay, yeah. I was really, I was so delighted that he gets it. Stephen Harper really does get it. I was really happy about that. Now, he hasn't gone into really the specifics yet of what he's going to do. But I did hear something on Sun News, I think it was yesterday. Sun News Network has our conservative radio, or not, TV and radio actually, here. And they were saying that one of the things that he wants to do that have come out is that they want to speed along how long it takes, like, to get somebody in detention, say they're suspicious of them or something. They usually have to go to the Attorney General, and then this guy thinks about it and whatever, and he usually does it, but they're trying to skip that part and get, straight to the part where they can detain this person. Okay, now, these, of course, have implications for our rights and freedoms and things like that, so it is a little bit nervous, but I just hope that they will target the right person, that they will have, they'll have the systems in place to be able to know who they are. They're not going to take, everybody off the street and do this to them. That's what I'm hoping. But, what I am concerned about is that this is being treated, I wrote about it in my latest article, blog in the Jerusalem Post, that I am concerned that this is treated as a policing matter, and I'm not sure if it's going to still be treated as a policing matter here. It is at this point, but it needs to be a military matter. Now, I'm not a military person. I'm just looking back and saying, well, what did we do in World War II? I mean, it's the same kind of thing. It's the same kind of ideology of let's kill the Jews and then let's kill everybody else too. They have to come up with some kind of a plan that is a military and also deals with the ideology, and, it also keeps people, of course, we don't want to target people that are Islamic who are not jihadists, but we must do something about this jihad thing militarily, and I believe that all the Western leaders have to come together and get on board with that. So, I also mentioned that in my latest Jerusalem Post blog that Obama, and I've been listening to it all day long on Fox News today and Sun News, that Obama, they do not want to sit down and say this is global jihadist Islam, or Islamist jihad. They don't want to say that for a many number of reasons, and this is very, very dangerous for all of us. Really it is, because if they don't name the enemy, there's some military person way back in the day said, and it's true, if you don't name the enemy, you can't fight it. So, we're in a bit of a betwixt and between here. So that's why I'm so sick and tired of this. Like, I'm just an average, person I think of myself as a grassroots person who's just saying, look, this is what I see, this is what I observe, this is what I need to get what I believe is the truth out to other people who want to hear it and want to put their ideas together, and perhaps we band together somehow. I don't know. But I can't stand here, I can't sit here any longer and watch this and not say anything. That's really what I'm about,
I understand that point. I think a lot of people are very emotional, as they should be, at what happened over Friday. And when you talk about President Obama and other leaders not acknowledging global jihad, and it's very important, as you say, for them to do so. But the fact they're not doing that, do you think that's due to ignorance, or is it something malicious? Is there some type of evil intent perhaps we don't know about? I want to get your
Well,
thoughts.
you see, there very well could be. We don't know. We can't tell the intents of people's hearts, but we can, for instance, President Obama, we can tell. Like I just wrote something today. I don't know if it'll be if they'll publish it. I wrote it for Israeli Cool because I now write for Israeli Cool as well, and it's a little bit controversial. So I don't know if they'll print it or not. Put it on the website. But I mentioned the thing about when he wrote in his book. I've got it right here on my computer. He wrote in his book back in, they don't have the date. I had it on the other thing. But anyway, in The Audacity of Hope, he wrote, I will stand with the Muslims should the political winds shift in an ugly direction. And this is a direct quote from his book, Audacity of Hope, on page 261 in the paperback edition. So this tells us a lot about this guy. I mean, he basically laid it out. And this was even before he was, elected, which made me very, very nervous because I could see that this was basically giving a green light to all the jihadists around the world. Yeah, it's going to be cool. It's going to be fine, And when he went to Cairo and he got rid of Mubarak, not that Mubarak was the greatest guy in the world, but he was on the side of the West. I know I had Egyptian friends and I know that it wasn't fun for them. But hey, the alternative was the Muslim Brotherhood. And Obama backed that. Okay, this is bad. And then, on another time when that whole thing was happening with Benghazi and they blamed the video, this fake video thing and put up this big smoke screen. And then he went to the UN to say to the whole world, the future does not belong to those who slander the prophet of Islam, or basically, I mean, that's paraphrasing it. But all these things are building up to tell us that this man does not want to face. Okay, I'm going to go so far. This is my opinion, and I believe he is in sympathy with the jihadist Islamists. Okay, I'm going to say it.
Wow.
So, I don't know. I mean, that's just my opinion. So
Sure.
other people can disagree with me, but with other people, like I'll say around Europe, they have screwed themselves over so badly by bringing in so many immigrants. Now, I have nothing against immigrants. I have nothing against even a Muslim person. I'm saying jihadists. They didn't screen at all for any kind of jihad mentality or ideology or these imams that can freely speak in mosques, and they also do it here in Canada, where they can talk about, basically indoctrinate people to jihad, basically. And, so that's part of it. It's the multi-culti, Mark Stein calls it the multi-culti, fog that people are in. Multiculturalism, moral relativism, like, the terrorist, Abbas, is on the same level now as Bibi Netanyahu. I mean, hello? So we've had years and years and years of this indoctrination, and this intelligentsia of moral relativism has taken over our schools, our universities here in the West, so in Europe and here in North America, and even in Israel. Israel has it too, where the left, wants to just commit suicide there. And the intelligentsia, the courts, the universities, the schools, they all teach this, and it's hard. I mean, I was taught this even in school myself. I had to undoctrinate myself from all that, because I looked around and I thought, well, what they said to me didn't make any sense, because look at what's really happening here. So I actually had to think for myself and come up with my own thoughts and ideas and find out what the truths really are. And there are truths. There are absolute truths in this world, not, narratives. And like our friend Bhakti she's Bhakti, Sachs. She wrote an article on that. Very interesting. There isn't a narrative. There's truth. There is moral truth. And we have lost in the West our moral, backbone, our moral compass. And so there are many, many factors behind what is going on with this and why they won't stand up and face it.
Again, this is a Prophecy here on Israel National Radio, Root Sheva, and the show is syndicated as Messiah Hour on YouTube. Go to YouTube, type in Messiah Hour with Ari Lewis, and subscribe to the YouTube channel. And, of course, you can email me, messiahhour@gmail.com. Our guest this afternoon is Leslie Ann Stoffel from therealclearisrael.org. Leslie, let's talk about that march with the world leaders in France. Benjamin Netanyahu, Israel's prime minister, went, a lot of other world leaders. And Obama did not, but Abbas did, and it was very strange where there's that picture, I don't know if you've seen it yet, where all the world leaders have a frown and Abbas has a smile. Was that? Did we catch Abbas in a bad moment, or I mean, what was that about? And tell us your thoughts on that picture and that photo.
Well, what I think that was about is there's a thing that psychopaths get, and it's called duper's delight. When they have duped people around them, they get this smirk. And that's, I think, from what I'm just looking at it, that's what I think it was. It was, look here, I am, he just had on his Facebook, when was it, last week? A pile of skulls of Jewish heads with kippahs on them, with skulls, a pile of dead Jews. He's standing there, arm in arm with the West. Here we go. Multiculturalism, fog on the brain, everybody. We can't think straight. We've got this terrorist guy in the lineup, and the smirk, the smile was to say, oh, how stupid you all are, you people. That's what that was. That's what I think.
So, I guess let's put it this way. We know that was a dumb idea to invite Abbas, and even Abbas knows it. Why did it happen?
Well, again, you see, there's such they back themselves into the corner now. Their countries are overrun with jihad. Okay. They need the Arabs for energy and oil and whatever, I'm guessing. They have anti-Semitism running throughout their countries, and so there are a myriad of reasons there, and they're not good ones. That was a perfect picture of moral relativism, and it's going to kill us. I even wrote an article about that. Preliminary symptom of death. Will moral relativism kill us? Yeah.
Yeah, it's apparently not helping currently. Now, one of the things also I wanted to talk about is if you explain to our audience, to be honest, I'm still trying to learn this a bit more, but there's since the attack and the attack also of some journalists and media members in France, there's this Je suis Charlie. My French is not that good, I apologize, but can you explain to our audience what exactly that is and what that's all about?
Well, the Je suis Charlie thing is, okay, I've been listening to Mark Stein on some shows talking about this, and he is very outspoken about this because he was actually taken to some tribunal here in Canada about when he was working for a paper. I think it was actually Ezra Levant's paper, and they printed those Danish cartoons, and they were taken to this human rights tribunal, blah 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 blah, and I think they actually won it. But Mark Stein is very much onto this, so he was saying that this Je suis Charlie thing is really basically a bunch of crap, because they were not, the left and the liberal media did not stand behind these guys when they needed the support. They were left to hang there and dangle there in the wind all this time when they needed the support. They needed others to print these things and talk about this and stand behind them in that way. And this Je suis Charlie hashtag stuff is a bunch of crap, because it's all at the last minute, and it shows they actually are cowards. And so it means it's meaningless.
Now, I want to talk a bit about your work with United with Israel, and
Mhm.
I know you're a big part of what they do. So tell us a bit about that work.
Oh, well, that's really interesting. I've been with them now. In June it'll be 3 years, and I've been handling their donations, and we do a lot of different projects. Right now we are doing. I'm just going to pull up our website too because we do a lot of stuff.
Sure.
Um, yeah, right now we're doing warm clothing for the IDF. We plant trees. People can plant trees and they can get a certificate for their loved one in honor or memory of. Um, During the war, we were doing so many things. We had an emergency fund set up and we were moving families out of areas where they needed to be put into safer areas. We're always putting in bomb shelters, when they need them. We put in bomb shelters then, those not little, but the portable ones. What else did we do? We had boxes made up for the soldiers and we put underwear and snacks and all kinds of things for the soldiers, and we also sell beautiful jewelry and things on there, and we also have staff writers. I have a blog on there too, actually, and then we have uh our staff writers write things every day, and then it goes out to all of our people, and we've got like almost 3 million people on our Facebook page at least.
Wow,
um, yeah.
that's impressive.
Uh, yeah. And then, what else? Now I have started helping them also with their Twitter account, with our Twitter page, too. So today I was working on that and, calling people, because people call in and they don't want to do it online, so they call in, but their call actually goes to Israel and then it bounces back and comes to my email. So then I call them back and I get all their information and I process donations. I do all kinds of stuff like that, which is really neat because it's such a good feeling to do something that helps the Jewish people and helps Israel. And so my whole life, really, I'm so lucky that I get to do what is my passion in life. You know? Yeah.
For sure, it's definitely a good way to put two of these things together. Now, going back to some of your writings, I want to talk. Actually, I want to focus more on Stephen Harper because we know that he visited Israel and he's been very pro-Israel, which is something unique with North America right now. So,
Yeah.
tell us where that comes from. Was he blessed by a Jew as a young child, and he remembered that? What exactly is the reason for his Zionism?
Well, oh, let's see. Yeah, I did write something about that too. Now I heard that came from his family. I think it came from his father, and so it stayed with him all these years. And and also, this is what I learned about him when he was there. It comes from also a moral stance of of supporting the only democracy in the Middle East. The Western values and being supportive in that way. So that is a big part of it for him too. He has a very strong moral compass and moral backbone, and thankfully he really rejects this moral relativism stuff, and so does his foreign minister John Baird, who's very, very strong pro-Israel too.
How do you think that affects him and affects Canada? Because much of the world, sadly enough, are anti-Israel. If you look in the UN votes, Israel
Yeah.
always loses. There's only the United States and Micronesia support us, and Canada supports us. So how do you think this affects Stephen Harper when he's dealing with other world leaders?
Well, I I I think, well, I think because I'm not there, unfortunately, and I don't know exactly how it all goes, but I would think that, he is he's a very calm and very strong person, and he will still just state what he needs to say and, just stick to his guns. I think it's going to start getting tricky though now. We'll have to see how it all plays out with,
Hmm.
the way Europe is having so many problems, and then we've got America here right beside us, and they won't actually say what it is that we're dealing with. And then we've got Stephen Harper. So it's going to be, see, that's the part that really sort of concerns me. And that's where I'm watching to see how it's going to go, because I know he will stick to his guns. So I just hope he ends up being kind of like a Churchill type or something that kind of brings everybody together. That's what I'm hoping.
All right. And last question we'll ask you in part one of this episode. I see you're going to a World Peace Card meditation. I find that interesting. I know there's about 1,000 people going over on Facebook. So tell us what that is exactly, and if anyone wants to get involved, where should they go?
Oh, that world peace thing, meditation thing. Well, somebody, actually, to be honest with you, Ari, I'm not certain of the exact thing of what that is. One of my friends, I think, invited me, and I haven't had a chance to really look into it. But I thought, well, that sounds really interesting, because I'm very much for praying for things and being a peaceful person. Everything. I'm not a violent nutcase or anything like that. So that's why that appealed to me. But I don't know exactly. I'll have to look into it more.
Sure, no problem. So what we're going to do now is we're going to take a quick break. On the other side, we're going to have more with Leslie Ann Stoffel, who works with United with Israel, also has a very popular blog, therealclearisrael.org. You can go there and check out her work. Again, this is a prophecy in Israel National Radio, Root Sheva, and the show is syndicated as Messiah Hour on YouTube. Go to YouTube and type in Messiah Hour with Ari Lewis and subscribe to the YouTube channel. It is free to do so. And again, email messiahhour@gmail.com. We'll have more on the other side. This is It Prophecy on IsraelNationalRadio.com.